Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
Kayak Bass Nation is presented by Dugout Bait and Tackle. Go to dugoutfishing.com to find everything you need for your next kayak bass fishing tournament.
Hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego.
Also sponsored by Revo Sunglasses. Go to revo.com, use code KBN25 to save 25% off your next order. Revo, best lenses on earth. Also sponsored by Western Sun Vodka. Go to westernsundistillery.com and use the bottle finder to find a bottle near you.
Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a great Labor Day with your friends and family. No live show tonight, but we've got a great best of show with some of the best clips from the last couple of months. There's too many to include them all. We have a lot of fun on Monday nights. I want to say we appreciate you guys coming to hang out with us on Mondays and make the show fun by getting in the comments and getting involved. But enjoy the show, enjoy the clips, leave some comments for us, and we'll see you guys live again next Monday night.
Experience, and just to see all the kids there, and having them get out on the water. I know the little gal that I had, Stella was her name. She didn't speak any English, so that was kind of a little bit of a challenge, but her mom came up, and her mom spoke kind of broken English, but I could understand her. And you could just see she learned immediately, how to cast. She'd never casted a fishing rod before, and then she said something in Swedish, and her mom said she wants to stay out here all night doing this. And I was like, oh man, how cool. And she was this little blonde haired girl, so of course I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. But there was a lot of little girls, there's a lot of guys, different age groups, and having all of us just get out there lining the jetty and working with these kids, I think was just such a cool experience for all of us. I know all of us love that part.
That was awesome. My little dude, he was like, hey, can you be that reel on the other side? And I was like, what? And he freaking bombs a cast like 55 yards with a rooster tail. And I was like, hey, he ain't playing. He's done this before.
So he's
His
done
dad's
that.
like, he fishes all the time.
That's
He just
so
kept
cool.
running up and down those rocks, and he saw a snake and comes running up. He's like, like freaking out. And I was like, what is it? He's like, snake.
That's awesome.
Kid's heart jumped out of his chest. He done run up on a snake over there.
What kind of snakes they got over there?
I don't know. I was told. So this is another
Loch
great
Ness
story
monster?
from our trip. We went to a moose farm one day on our tourist
Nice.
adventure. So Ron and I wear flip-flops, and we're not the smallest individuals in the world. So this moose farm is like a 5-mile loop around a moose enclosure up a mountain, literally hiking up a mountain. It doesn't tell you that in the beginning. We had no idea what we're getting into. So it's like super thick, and there's vegetation everywhere. And Jay Wallen's with us, and Jay's like, there ain't no snakes in Sweden. You're fine. Go on. Okay, so the next day we see a snake on the water. And I'm like, Jay, dog. So then we Google it. Well, there's some like kill you instantly viper in Sweden.
What?
I was like, hey, Jay, you were setting us up, my boy. Like he sent us off in the bush just trying to get bit. Yeah, there's snakes in Sweden. So P.S. if anybody else goes back.
Swedish vipers. The worst
Yeah.
ones.
They'll get you. They'll get you.
Wow. I had no idea. Yeah, crazy. So when the tournament came, Christine, I know all the festivities of the week, obviously it was fun to watch all that, but when the tournament came and game day was there, we talked about the fun you guys have with the shotgun starts and stuff like that. But once you got out to the water, did you just click into tournament mode and try to put all the other distractions behind and really fish hard, or did you just kind of enjoy the moment out there?
Honestly, for that experience, I think all of us on Team USA can probably agree with this. It really wasn't about us individually winning. And I know for me, it wasn't. And even, doing well, we all want to do well, but more so, I was just so happy to have been there and being with all the other countries and seeing all the guys in the water. I was just for me, it was like going out there and just having a good time, trying to catch fish, trying to learn a little bit more. But I stopped and talked to several of the competitors, helped a couple of them out. A couple of the local guys helped them catch some perch, which was cool. But for me, just being there and having that experience, I really wasn't like in normal tournament mode. Like, okay, I gotta, do this. And at least for me, it was just kind of more relaxed and more of just enjoying the moment.
And I will admit, sometimes I eat a little crow. I gave Steve a lot of shit because we had a lot of people signing up for this event, and it was, it's an entry fee. It's a flight. You're traveling across the world. I'm like, dude, there needs to be some kind of cash prize, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people would message, asking, I can't believe this doesn't have a cash prize. Steve, always taking feedback and listening, put up a cash prize. But he told me during this conversation, he's like, the experience is the prize. And it didn't make sense at the time because I'm like, we're going over here to get our ass kicked. Like, is that a prize? And then after everything, we've talked about, several of the highlights here. It is the prize. I apologize, Steve. It is the prize. It was awesome.
I know he's watching.
Awesome.
He heard that.
Oh, yeah.
What you're saying, Ryan, is it's just like Dardanelle.
It's just like Dardanelle. I'm not going to get my entry fee back. The experience is the prize.
That's it. No, I'm just kidding. No, unbelievable. So, you got back home, you decided to go to Wisconsin, Christine. And like you said, what was that?
Hello?
No, that was a loon. Did you guys hear him?
Wow.
There's several of them. They're going crazy.
Is that a Scotch whistle?
4 Scotch is the only one up here that doesn't have a map for this lake, and so it's been kind of a challenge for Scotcheroo. But
yeah.
He did get one just shy of 5 pounds and a couple upper 4s, so we're working on it. But yeah, the loons are going nuts right now.
Okay. You gonna have? Is it like? It looks like it's dusk. You gonna have some topwater action while you're sitting there live on camera? That'd be.
So we've been trying. It's like glass though. We had a couple blow up and a shower blow, but we haven't been able to really generate much topwater stuff. They've all ate a little tungsten jig with a little craw on it all day long. It's been pretty awesome. But these guys, they're all fishing topwater right now. I'm kind of watching them while I'm cruising.
I feel like, can you cast a couple times? This feels like KFL, except people are watching it.
Oh God. Welcome.
Walt on YouTube says we've hit a new level of special effects. Yeah, that's Ryan's ringtone, the loon.
We're trying to really incorporate live animals into the show, but there are several government entities that don't want that to happen.
We did have Luke Arians' turkey call into the show one time.
We did. What did we had? Bob did some. Bob the Coon King brought a live raccoon or something out that day too.
We had some stuff go down at the ramp. We always hear about people throwing treble hooks at people and making these bold statements, but my man really had to actually put up or shut up, huh?
You always hear "meet me at the ramp." I don't think many people actually take that serious. This is what happens when you meet somebody at the ramp. Let's bring on our first guest.
All right, let's do this. Boom. Jeremy, what's up, my man?
How's it going, guys?
How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Very tough tournament.
Well, you got something out of it anyway.
Yeah, I got something out of it.
First of all, how'd you do fishing wise?
Day 1, 2 keepers, and day 2, I fished till 10 or 11, and I couldn't get a bite, man. I was wore out. My hand is let's see, where's the camera? There, it's pretty swollen. So I was trying to skip with a broken pinky finger.
I think they call that a boxer's fracture, which makes sense.
Yeah. Alabama hardhead.
How so tell us, like we've tried not to spill the beans here and give too many hints away. Explain what happened here.
Well, basically, I practiced all day fishing. I got in Monday late. Stayed the night, slept, got up Tuesday, went fishing Tuesday morning, fished all day, no fish, tough day. Get back to the ramp, and the wind had picked up pretty, it was doing that every day you follow, picking up very heavy today. So I was bouncing around trying to get up to the boat dock, and something just slams into my kayak, and I was like, what the hell is this? And when I turn around, there's a guy in a Phoenix. And at first, my first thought was, wow, this guy accidentally slams into me. So I'll keep it PG since we're on the podcast. But basically, he tells me to get my head.
No, you don't have to.
Bring it on.
Oh, the words out of his mouth was, "You need to get that fucking thing out of the water, buddy."
Oh.
And his partner's in the boat with him, shaking his head, like looking down at the boat, like, no. You know what I mean? And I'm not a calm guy by any means. I'm an irate guy, so I don't. It doesn't take much. To push me. So when this dude did that, I obviously told him I would gladly climb on his boat and beat his fucking teeth out. And he's, I'm trying to get on his boat. I really am. That was my intentions, was to get onto his boat because I was going to beat his ass on his boat and throw his keys in the lake. That's the thought was running through my mind, is beat this guy's ass and throw his keys in the lake. He won't do that shit no more. So we're arguing, and he's getting away from me. He's gassing his boat, getting away from me. I can't keep up with him. So I told him, I said, you boat that dock. I said, you land that boat, buddy. I said, I'll beat your ass on the dock. I said, meet me on the land. And there were a bunch of people out there fishing. And so apparently somebody in the moment of all that had already called the police department. Because by the time I boat up, I jump off, I get my boat tied up, and I get on the dock. I get up on the land and take my life jacket off. I'm in flip-flops and a tank top. I'm ready to go. I don't care. So, and I'm gonna give old boy credit. He was a healthy old big redneck boy. He was not scared. He's no fear at him. He boated his dock. He landed that boat and come right up on the dock. And I shoved him, and he threw this Alabama haymaker from I don't know where, the other side of Eufaula, as slow as I'll get out. And I've been in a few tussles in my life. I've been in a couple fights. So when he flung this haymaker, I two-pieced him right in the face. And he staggered back, and he commenced to do the Alabama windmill on me, man. He dropped his head and just swinging. He caught me in the nose real good, busted my nose. I'm bleeding. So I just started swinging, just started punching and swinging at him, jabbing him. And he couldn't take it. He balled up like a turtle. And when the police rolled up, I was whooping his ass, and they jump out of the cars, pulling the taser on me. They put me in handcuffs, but luckily all the people at the boat ramp were like, no, that's not what's going on. And they told me, I was irate. I'm screaming at the cop, what the fuck is wrong with you? This dude hit me with his boat. You got me in handcuffs. I'm freaking the fuck out. And people are, and sadly all the people there were fishing, man, because had not, I would have had no leg to stand on, because when the cop got there, I was just beating his ass. So, but they told him, and that cop actually asked me if I wanted to press charges. He said, do you want to press charges? And that guy in the boat was like, well, what do you mean press charges? And that cop told him, he said, that's assault with a vehicle, man. He said, that's no different than you hitting a guy with your car on a bicycle on the road, man. And I'm flipping. I'm like, what would you have done? You sunk my kayak, dude. Well, I got $8,000. I got a Solix 10, a Mega Live. I got a lot of stuff invested in my kayak. And oh man, it was unreal. It was just
he thought he was immune from charges because he got his ass beat. I
guess
lost.
so.
What do you mean press charges?
yeah. That's exactly how he acted. Like he did nothing wrong with hitting me with his boat. I don't know, man. $80,000 Phoenix, I guess.
That's
on the lake.
insane. That's insane.
Yeah,
what I heard, I thought that he like backed into your kayak, like trying to get to the water.
He bumped me, man.
He was like
pushed me.
you.
No, he rammed me and told me to get the fuck out of the water.
Wow.
And if he would have been like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," it would have been a whole different situation. But there was no apology. That was the first thing out of his mouth was, "You need to get that fucking thing out of the water, buddy." Like I was impeding the lake.
Hey, do you know that you said the guy balled up like a turtle? Eufaula has strict limits on turtles, so you better be careful there. You could have gotten in trouble there.
That might have been why they got out with the tasers.
They got him for turtle abuse.
At least they didn't tase me. I was not irate too bad, so that I got my hands off of him before I got the shock treatment.
You didn't get the tase? All right.
No, I was smart enough, but they put me in handcuffs. That kind of sucked. I'm standing there in handcuffs in front of everybody.
That kind of sucked.
Is there any pictures of this?
Yeah, somebody got this on video.
I can't wait for a video. You know, somebody videoed this.
$500 reward for the video. Somebody find it. This is going on World Star. We got this.
But you know, there's one. All these cell phones. I've been looking. I got my sister-in-law looking on the internet. We're all trying to find a video. It's somewhere. There's a video of me kicking this dude's ass.
Spread the word. Spread the word. We got a reward out. We want this.
Steve Fields says next time reach out and he'll go live from the camera boat. He'll come over.
Yeah.
Box his ears, mate. Crikey.
Dylan Lowry keeps asking for the name.
Did not disappoint, buddy. That was everything I hoped for and more.
Well, I'm glad. I hope he learned his lesson though, and now he won't mess with another kayaker.
There you go.
I would say not. I don't think he'll probably help us all load up at the ramp.
He really could have hurt me. I mean, and I hope he took that into consideration, because even his buddy wouldn't help him. So his buddy knew he was in the wrong. So there was two of them on the boat together.
What kind of kayak are you in?
Hobie PA-14.
All right, so it can take a licking and keep on ticking. You
Keep
heard it
on
here
ticking.
first.
Yes, sir.
I like it.
All right, Jeremy, you are the hero that kayak fishing needed. No one,
Somebody
that no
send
one
him
knew
a
about.
trophy. Steve, send him a trophy. Boxing gloves.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you some Revo stuff. So DM me your address.
Yeah,
We'll get
for
you some
sure.
Revo stuff
For
at least.
sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna
So-
get
All
that
right.
belt. Where's that Save JT belt? We're gonna get him one of those.
Yeah,
dude.
there you go. There you go.
Good shit, Jeremy. Proud of
All
you.
right, thank
Appreciate you,
guys.
brother.
Have a good night,
Yeah.
man.
Oh my, that was even better than I thought it was gonna be, Ryan.
Holy cow, that's feisty. A million other 18-inch fish throughout the day, but if you don't take pictures of these, and this is why teachable moment, I tell people to always take pictures. Like even if you're catching fish that are close to your smallest cull, take a picture, even one single picture, because you may need that to save yourself a spot or two, on the check roster there in case something happens. Because I'm guilty of it too. Like if I'm catching fish in a tournament, I catch a fish, I take the picture, boom, I'm right back at it. I don't go through my own stringer. I assume that the judges are going through my stringer. And when I get a verification, then that's correct and good. I think that might be another question to bring up as far as judging goes. Like when you get the check mark, when you get the okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What are you okayed on? Are you okay that fish is good for that single fish judging, or did they judge your stringer, especially when you're getting a check and there's pictures and interviews and your sponsors are sharing a post? Like, it's embarrassing to go back and be like, wait a minute, I'm sorry, they judged my fish the next day and now there's an issue. So I don't know where the line is on that.
Let me give you my opinion from a former judge that's judged a lot of fish. You've judged a lot of fish too, Ryan, especially in the JT event. But there's no excuse for it. There's absolutely no excuse for it. We're not playing football, baseball, any live action sport where you're making on the fly judgment calls. In these events, outside of the local events where you got volunteers and they're cramming all their pictures into the afternoon, stuff's going to happen. But these are paid judges in high dollar events. There is zero excuse for sometimes we make mistakes stuff that happens over and over. There's no way, no freaking way should that be happening when it's obvious. If there's two fish of the same length, a paid professional judge that apparently is a contracted company to look at these fish should automatically compare two fish of the same length.
And I could be wrong, and my memory's not the best. Isn't there something on Tourney X that flags fish within like a quarter inch or something, like for the judge to go back through and acknowledge? And it may not be on Fish Chaos. I don't know if it is or not, but that was one of the kind of safety features there to ensure stuff like this doesn't happen, that the judge has to go back through and be like, okay, check, that's not the same fish. I mean, I think that's a pretty good safety mechanism just so crazy stuff like this doesn't happen in tournaments.
Well, I mean, that's the simplest thing you can do is just, if you're going to hand out a check like to Dylan here, a third place check, go back and look at his stringer before you give him the check, not the next day.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it the next day?
She said it got past both of her judges on day one, and she didn't catch it until she was verifying both of my bags for the Pro Series.
Right. Why were they doing it for that, not for day one? That's the part that I don't understand. And I'm not just pointing them out in particular because this happens in other series too. But KBF had kind of a history of this before, and it was some of the same judges who now have their own company contracted by KBF and making the same mistakes, which is probably not a coincidence. But that is something that should be cleaned up easily.
Well, wasn't there some big controversial post the other day about open mouth, closed mouth, all that stuff
same
too?
deal.
I mean,
Mouth was closed.
Well, and again, like there, I don't know. There's got to be some kind of standard that's set into place. We can't just have, and I know we gave Drew a little shit for his, what was it, the Anglers Union or whatever. But if you could get everybody, all three big organizations on the same page as far as just standardization, hand placement, mouth open, mouth closed, just so everybody has some kind of idea on this. And I know duplicate fish, that's not anything subjective at all. That is just you judging the things on time. But the little nuances, if everybody gets on the same page on that, that's going to save a lot of headache and a lot of backtracking as far as having to eat crow and be like, oh yeah, sorry about that. We whiffed on that one.
Yeah. I mean, we've been at this a while now with the electronic or catch photo release and out from SD cards and doing these apps. So these kind of things, poor judging should be a thing of the past on the big money, big money events. That should be a thing of the past.
I mean, we keep saying we're working and changing and getting better. Like let's do it. Let's do it. Let's take it to the top. I think that's a big piece of the puzzle there.
Low, and then ended up running into them and catching them pretty good. But no, I had no indication beforehand that I knew I was gonna win that tournament. I felt good about it. I knew the nice thing about fishing when at home is you're never going to spend a minute wasted. You're never going to be like, I'm going to pull up and fish this point. I don't know if the bass has ever lived here or not. That was not the case. Everywhere I was going to make a cast, I knew bass had been caught before. So my confidence was good. I knew I was going to be in productive water, but no, that's the last place to say I was confident in winning.
That was an amazing event, and I wanted to follow up to what Ryan was talking about, the live coverage, and we've had this conversation on our group page and our forums and on this show before about what it's going to take to bridge kayak bass fishing into the pro-ish, at least, realm. Right now, we kind of have those talks, but everything's an open in kayak fishing. Mm-hmm. There are some big checks being cashed, relative to what we, have invested, but we don't have a legit pro series. You've obviously been with FLW Bass. You've been with MLF and kind of saw the development of a brand new pro series. So what do you think it will take to build that bridge to a pro level for a lower level deal like kayak fishing?
For kayak fishing, and that, man, I think the potential is absolutely there. I mean, the amount of people I see in kayak fishing, and the nice thing about it is the fact that it is a lower entry level of cost. I mean, if a guy has got $3,000 or $4,000 and he can buy he can buy some fishing stuff and he can buy a kayak, dude, he's set. I mean, he's ready to go. The thing something I could see that would, I mean, if I was just spitballing right off the rip, obviously you don't have a place for a cameraman or a judge in your boat. So you've got to have some way to have another. I feel like to keep it completely legitimate, to have another set of eyes on you. If it would have to start off small, I feel like, to manage this. But man, if you had a way to hook an iPhone that was live streaming back to a truck, and if it was 10 guys, if it was 20 guys in the event, but they were live streamed back to the truck, everything they did was watched from the truck. Every fish they caught, the way they measured it, or you were able to do scales, whichever would be your preference as far as that goes. And you'd have to start off small, but you could grow it from there. But you had that live stream back to the truck was kind of your boat official. And then it just all went from there to be able to keep things on the up and up. And I could see that taking off because people love, as we all do as anglers, we love to watch live fishing because you do truly learn more when it's the unedited version. You watch the 3 casts before the cast that the guy actually made and caught the fish. So that's what's neat about it. And those are a lot of times that's where you learn the most. And then the actual fish catch is just the fish catch. But so I think that would be a way to do it.
I know if you have Boyd Duckett's ear, kayak fishing is perfect for the MLF format because we already catch photo release. We could catch all you want. So
y'all were the originators. Yeah, y'all were the originators.
Y'all can get in the game next. Little MLF kayak fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, y'all were the originators of that deal. No doubt about it.
Which one do you prefer? Do you like the catch as many as you can, or you like the Big 5 format?
I like to catch as many as you can. I truly do. Ours. But it's twofold. You look at it. Everybody wants to compare every fish counts to 5 fish, but we're also every fish counts a couple days, the weight's 0. Every fish counts, the weight's 0. You just got to check the boxes until you get to the final day, and then that's the only day that winning matters. Where, with bass or pro circuit changed theirs this year, but it's the cumulative. So this day, and then you added all the way to the end. Yeah. And so in that format, with only 5 fish counting, you kind of get who the guy was more consistent throughout the whole week, and was able to carry that through from the end. The only thing with that is one big day or one big fish can truly win the tournament. I've done that before. I mean, the one I won in lacrosse, I caught a 6-pounder at lacrosse in an elite series. Now, I mean, I had to catch other fish to go with it, and I had other, I had big weights other days, but dude, a 6-pounder was like I got to weigh in 6.
That's that's a triple
I mean,
digit at lacrosse.
Right. I got a whole nother fish that day, because of that. I came in second and won at Okeechobee because I had one day that I had 31 pounds or something, So it's that's the only thing with that format, to where it's like, man, you can separate yourself in one single day, that to where in our format, you got to make it all the way through, and then that final day is when you've got to really exceptionally perform. And I think that's where the every fish part of it levels it out. Like, I personally, I don't like what the pro circuit did this year, to where it's 5 fish, but on the final day it's just that standalone day. I get the reason for it, because the excitement, and it's not, a guy doesn't carry a 10-pound lead into the final day and he's already won before they go fishing. I get the reason for it, but as an angler, I'm not crazy about it, because on that final day, you catch a 6-pounder at lacrosse, well, you probably won the tournament because of one fish. Where in ours, you ain't going to win you could catch a 10-pounder on Watts Bar. You ain't going to win the tournament because of that one fish. With every fish counting, it's going to kind of negate that. So I do. I like the every fish part of it. I feel like you don't have that one lucky bite, here or there, that you win because of that fish. And I've been like I said, I've been the benefit of that, in my career before. But I feel like the better angler overall for the whole week typically comes out.
Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation.
We kind of piggyback on that about your season in the Opens. What'd you think about this news about the new qual standards for the Opens? You're fishing them all this year anyway. So
yeah,
what'd you think about that?
I brought up a response to a social, and I don't post anything negative on social media or anything. And when I first heard about it, people were saying, "Oh, now it's the trust fund baby league," and you have to be rich to fish it all. And I posted something on there. Of course, I lost the post, but I replied to this. It was on Clark Ream's page, and I said, I'm fishing all 9 this year, and I understand why some are upset, but I think for me, if I was to do it again, say I go next year and I'm fishing them again, it's going to benefit. I feel like it would be better for myself. I'm all in. I want to qualify. I don't want to just get lucky. And don't think I'm just saying to somebody, you're just getting lucky if you're fishing 3. I just feel like I'm all in. I'm trying my best shot to make it. Sleeping in a tent, I'm eating sandwiches. I don't want to hear someone say that it's a trust fund baby league, because my family and we're making a lot of sacrifices to make it happen. And when I do make it happen, it's going to be even harder to make it happen again. And a lot of things, I think I was a little bummed on. They said there's only 9 qualifying. I wish it was 12. It should have just kept it at 12. Well, 9, okay, but I get it. But realistically, I'm fishing 9 tournaments right now. If you look at Jason Christie and Scott Martin, I think they qualified at 6th and 7th in the points, and they're like the last ones to get in because of there's double qualifying in different ways. If someone double qualifies in one division, then it drops down the overall list. That's why you fish all 9. You have a better shot at making it. Now, if you look at it the other way, you're like, man, a local guy from the Southern Division comes in, kicks butt on his 2 home lakes he's good at, and then does halfway decent on 1. He gets in. I put all this effort in. And then also, I put all this effort in, they made it in. I'm not jealous. That's how it is. But that's how it is. That's how it is. But I feel like this way they're going would benefit someone like me that really is fully dedicated. And not that they're not. I'm just saying, with everything, from social media, everything, I'm all in. I want to do this for the rest of my life. Of course, I'm going to want to fish all 9. What are you going to do when you make it? If you're doing 3, how are you going to afford the elites? I mean, that's like $60,000-$70,000, you know, and then from a elite guys version or guys in the pro, and I'm not going to name drop, but I know guys, a lot of them feel this is a good move because can you imagine fishing? You're in the elites, and they knock out so many guys. You know, a high percentage of guys can't make it. They might either, you know, they just don't requalify, but then you got guys coming in, and it's supposed to be the elites. And all I'm saying is, I really feel that you're going to have a more dedicated crowd fishing, and someone's going to hate me for this. I know it, but I think you're going to have a real dedicated crowd fishing all 9 and to qualify, other than just some guys getting in, you know, out of 3 tournaments. But
Yeah.
Do you think that takes some of the weight away from it being called the Opens and being the Opens? Like, I feel like some of these divisions and how it's set up, it's the Opens because you can go build houses for 3 weeks, let's say, and take off a few days and go fish against these guys that, you know, maybe have more of an opportunity to travel around, and, you know, they're not doing X, Y, or Z to put food on the table. They can go focus on these tournaments and pre-fish and, you know, get their ducks in a row or whatever for all 9. But the open concept, I feel like they whittled a lot of the opportunity down, from my perspective, by taking it from the opens to saying you have to fish all 9. I want to put this in perspective for our audience, the kayak anglers. If Hobie said, hey, listen, you got to fish all 9. If you don't fish all 9, don't even sign up for my shit. How many people do you think are going to drop from a 200 angler field down to fish all 9? I would seriously venture to say maybe 60 to 80 is what you would see if kayak fishing made the same move that the Opens
that's at our little bitty entry fee too, right?
Yeah, that's at a minuscule entry fee. I just wonder if that has hurt the overall opportunity for the masses, not for the, you know, obviously, if you look at bass fishing as a whole, you've got millions of people that do it all the time recreationally or in tournaments or whatever. Obviously, their goal is to make it to one of these professional leagues. But if you whittle it down and you say, okay, 100 of you guys or 120 of you guys have set your life up to where it allows you this opportunity to go. And people can say, oh, anybody can do it. Well, I mean, anybody maybe can do it, but I mean, that's still you're looking at what, 35, 40, 45 grand in expenses total. Once you factor in entries, travel and whatnot, I mean, that's a good chunk of money. So you can't say anybody can do it because anybody doesn't have a, you know, let's say on the low end, a $60,000 bass boat in the garage to go out and be competitive in this stuff. I wonder how much it's pigeonholing to, like, you either have, you know, a super stable backing or it takes that much, you know, sacrifice or borrowing or betting on yourself, however you want to phrase it, to look into it. I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Back to my thoughts on that. So there is a lot of, I've been talking with some of the guys in the campgrounds and stuff. So there's already a bunch of guys that are dropping out. So they fork out all the money. They're banking on they don't have all the money, or they're just going to save it for the next year. They're banking on making it. And once they've already finished a certain amount, I mean, especially after this last one, they're kind of like, look, I'm not going to make it. I'll just back out, lose my deposits, and move on. Another thing about, like, the participation, I don't know the exact amount, but I do know that, like, my buddy Sig Taylor was going to fish the Southern Division. He had his wife plan to sign him up for all 3 for the Southern Divisions right as soon as it went going on. And he had a timestamp that was 1 hour after the signups were over. And I said, you're in? He said, yes. He texts me 3 days later. He said, did you get a confirmation? And I said, yes, I just got it. But I signed up for all 9, so I have a priority. He got a confirmation, or he got notified that he wasn't in. Then he called 190th on the wait list. Out of 225 boats for the Southern, he was 190th an hour after the signups were done. So I think bass is, I don't know this, but if I couldn't believe it. And then another, if Cameron's watching, I think he was supposed to ruin it. I think he was delayed too, and I could be wrong. Cameron Smith, his buddy Cameron, and he was 160th or something. His timestamp was just like 10 minutes before 6. So the overall amount of people trying to get in, I'm pretty sure Bass saw this and they're like, whoa. And I know when I tell someone that, they're like, I didn't know that. And I'm like, he showed me. There's a lot. There's like 1,000 people trying to fish these tournaments. So they're like, okay, look, you guys want to fish, you got to fish them all.
Okay, so that's going to naturally thin that out. It may be in there.
It's going to thin that out, yeah.
Yeah.
But does that make it less of an open? Like if you're talking about,
I hear what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not necessarily this is an open event in your area. This is now closed to anyone that can't fish across the country. It's what it turned it into.
If you want to make the elites, you could still fish it.
Right. But I mean, if they're having the opens, here's my thing. Why not just make a middle ground? Why not just have a tournament series in the middle that is an actual series? You advertise it as that up front, and you don't change the thing that in people's perception has always been the working man's way to fish it in. You know what I mean? Like the Southern Open, whatever it is, like, okay, I may have to take off 3 weeks of work, but I feel like I can do well enough to shoot my shot and qualify to the elites. You've now made it to where you have to take at least minimum 9 weeks off of work and travel around the country. Like they've literally changed the entire paradigm of chasing the dream. And I get it. Some people want the dream more than others. Some people have the ability to sacrifice more than others, but you have literally changed the approach, for people's lives on how they can attain this certain goal of theirs.
Oh yeah. I was just talking, just before I got in here with my buddy Brent Shores, and he was like, hey, I think I can, I got one more year and I can't do it after that. That's it. I could probably do it next year. And after that, I'm going to take a break because that's a lot of money. I won't be able to do it. And, he was kind of like me, kind of like, I see it, but I'm angry because I really only want to fish 2 divisions or 1 division. I got other stuff I got to do. And yeah, I mean, this is my first year with Bass. From what I've seen in the past, they've changed the opens from what they had 2 divisions, 3 divisions. They've changed it a bunch. I'm sure if it doesn't work out for them, they're going to change it. I just feel my own way. Like if I didn't make it and I was fishing next year, I feel like I'd have a much better shot to make it instead of just because I know I would do everything I could to fish 9.
Do you think they'll fill the entire field? Do you think?
I just have this feeling, why haven't they filled it up? And I just have this feeling they're just waiting for guys with their legend exemptions to come back. You're already seeing, look what's happening. You're already seeing some guys leaving MLF for whatever reasons, their own reasons. I don't know. And then if you try to compare this to MLF, if you go and fish the MLF, the tour, which I have nothing on them. I mean, they're awesome people, awesome circuit. I just want to try something different this year. But if you look at that, they only take 2 guys get to go to the Bass Pro Tour, 3 guys total every year. And then if you look at Bass, they get the 12 plus the Nation guy, which I think the Nation guy should always get to go because that's very difficult. Yeah. You have to go through thousands of people, and
over on the MLF side, I'm hearing 300 and 400 boat fields for some of those mid-level tournaments. The Toyota Series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they're going nuts over there too.
They're going nuts.
Yeah. Well, I'll be curious, man. I'll be curious to see what happens with the overall numbers for the opens, if it stays capped out or at least the waiting list get knocked out. Maybe Bass is just trying to, like you said, to set up people so that they know if they qualify, they can actually make the transition to the elites, not just qualify and have to go down the list to someone else. Because if you can do all 9, you're ready to
Lunch
go.
Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation.
And I said, nah, man. I texted him verbatim. I said, nah, I said, I'm literally going to fish my butt off the rest of the day. Like, I know how Chick does. I know what's capable of a Chickamauga, just the same way Riser caught a 24 the day before. I know what swims in Chickamauga. Like, my PB is from Chickamauga, 25 inches. I caught on August 27th, 5 years ago. I know what eats that time of year on Chick. And I was like, I'm just going to fish 110%. I went and, like, paddled my way through a grass mat to go fish a spot where I hooked a really big fish in June, the last time I was on Chick. And it was a complete waste of time. And I paddled my way back out and past Ewing. And he was like, yeah, this ain't happening, whatever else. And so I decided to move boat ramps. I was like, I thought that whole area was just dead. So I go to leave, get on the road. I'm like, I'm pulling a Marshall midday move. I'm 110%. And I'm on the interstate. I'm moving spots. And Lambert calls me and he goes, congratulations, you've been invited to be on KBN Monday night. And I was like, dude, you can ask Lambert. I said verbatim. I said, dude, I said, I don't think like I have an 11-inch lead. I get it. I appreciate it. And I literally said verbatim, I said, dude, I said, somebody, Riser or somebody, is going to catch a 25-inch fish and screw me over.
Yeah.
And it wasn't 10 minutes after we got off the phone.
It was maybe 5 minutes.
Maybe 5 minutes. I get a call from Ewing, and I was like, I said, what in the world? And I answer the call, and he goes, hey, man, just so you know, I caught a 25, and I'm going to beat you in this tournament. And I'm going to cull one more fish, and I'm going to beat you. And I was like, Chick doesn't have the best service. And I was like, what? What in the world? I was like, I went 0 to 100. I was like, I had just called Ewing, like, I don't know, probably 30 minutes before that, and was like, hey, man, I'm leaving. I just saw you caught a 20-inch fish. Like, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome. Keep culling. Good job. And then when he called me back and told me he caught a 25, and then basically I lost service, and I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way he caught a 25, right? There's no way. So I pulled up the leaderboard, saw he caught a 25, and I immediately went full blown, like nearly panic attack. I bet I was doing like 95 down the interstate. And I said, dude, I got to get to this spot. I've got a 17.5-inch fish I got to cull, which is stupid when you say that. It's like, oh, I got to cull 17.5. But at Chick, it's like at any given point, you can catch a 25, obviously. And I was like, I've got to go somewhere to catch a big fish. And I literally went to my second spot, and I caught 16.5, 16.5, 16.25, 16. I had like 82 inches, when we're close to it, 80 inches ish on my second limit of fish that did me no good whatsoever. And every time I hook one, I mean, you know how it is when your adrenaline's going. I'd hook one and be like, oh, there it is. There's a coal fish. That might be, a little bit of a coal. And I'd get it in. It's a 16.5. And I was like, throwing fish 20 feet in the air because I was pissed off to catch a 16.5-inch fish, which literally I think every single person in that tournament would have loved to have a 16.5-inch fish either day.
I would like to just submit one, would be my goal for the tournament if I could redo things. I believe your quote was, if Ewing beats me, I'm selling all my stuff. Something like that. Retirement was imminent at that point.
It was something along those lines, man. Like don't get me wrong. Like Ewing's my boy. Like, I called him and congratulated him when he caught that 20.5 or 20 or whatever it was. And I was like, so, I didn't want to count my chickens before they hatched. And I literally was like, when people were texting me like, hey, congratulations at 11 o'clock, I was like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. And even when Lambert called me, I was like, man, that ain't right. I don't like that. And when Ewing caught that fish, I was just like consumed with, here we go again. Like, this is not going to happen. Like, why do I bother doing this if all I'm going to do is finish second place? And it wasn't right. I threw a jackhammer up into a tree, and there was so much adrenaline in it. I bet it went 20 yards past where it was supposed to go up in this tree. And it was a jackhammer that I've caught fish on at Susquehanna, Sweden, Wolf and Fox River, and at Chick. And I bet I didn't yank that thing 3 times. I just reeled down as fast as I could and yanked it and snapped it off and like just put the rod down and started throwing something else. Like I was so out of sorts for that last hour. Like I probably couldn't tell you what my name was for that last hour.
I know how Edwin talks. Obviously, I've know Edwin. We've had him on the show. I just imagine his voice telling you in that calm, dry voice,
Hey, bro.
Just call when I'm going to beat you. That's
I just caught a 25. I'm gonna beat you, bro.
Hey, just so you know, I caught a 25 on a Cinco, and I'm gonna beat you if I pull more fish. And then the service went out, and I was like,
I appreciate his style because that's exactly what I did on Watts Bar. When I caught that 19 and a half, I was like, I told Lee Rose, I was like, let Edwin know I'm about to call this other fish and beat him.
Yeah.
It's a head game, man. It's a head game, and it worked.
I've made those phone calls to other people.
It was
I made those phone calls to other people, and I appreciate the trash talk. Like I get it. Like, I respect that. That's part of the game, and I love it. I've made those calls to other people, but I've never had anyone make that call to me, and it was so unsettling. It was like, wait a minute, like. Not only was he making the phone call, that's the first time I have ever had anyone call me, because I'm always the person that's like coming out of nowhere, like at the end of the day, like, have a bad day 1 and a good day 2 to kind of come get stuff, or Cole like with a 20-inch fish at the last minute, and it's like,
or a 25-inch fish at the last minute,
or a 25-inch fish based on Lambert's
experience. Same shoes.
Yeah, and it was like, I was like, this is my whole fishing life is going to come full circle, because I caught a 25-inch fish. Granted, I didn't need it that day. That's a side note. I still would have won that tournament anyway. But I caught a 25-inch fish to beat Lambert for AOY a few years ago in a local trail. And I was like, Lambert calls me little brother. I call Ewing little brother sometimes. I was like, my whole fishing life is going to come full circle, and somebody's going to beat me while calling me little brother with a 25-inch fish. I said, this is not right.